Welcome back, friends. Happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate, Thursday if you don't. We're going to tune into the collective here and get some information. So if you found this video, there might be something here for you. So let's just focus in on whatever is most alive in your heart or in your mind. And beginning like we do, focusing on that and taking 3 deep breaths in through the nose, and letting them out through the mouth. 2 more times, breathing in. And exhaling through the mouth. And 1 more time, breathing in. And exhaling. I'm seeing birds, I'm seeing elephants, I'm seeing the Cheshire cat. That might be relevant, so let's see what we got. What wants to come out? What does, ooh boy. Do we want all these? Here's what we're going to do. Spread these out. And we might take all of these, but let's see, where do we want to begin? So I'm just breathing in, bringing my awareness to my fingertips, and just waiting for a nudge or a pull or a tingle. Something that's telling me where to begin. What does the collective need? Where are we beginning? Hmm. It is all. It is all of them. Page of Wands. 6 of Swords reversed. 9 of Swords. 10 of Cups reversed. 2 of Swords reversed. Queen of Cups. King of Wands. 9 of Cups. 7 of Wands reversed. And the World. You're at the beginning. It's a learning phase, and the wands came up the last time. The the 10 of Wands, which we can kind of see as like the completion, but this is the journey beginning again. Pages are associated with students, with learning, and looking at this, it seems to be this idea of undoing what is or what has come before. We've got the 6 of Swords, but it's reversed. There's a stillness to this card. There is the idea of transportation or safe passage. This river could represent the river Styx. So if you'll recall from our last reading, death came up. So this could be more of that traveling into the underworld, the unconscious, to discover what has been hidden there. But it was reversed, so there's something blocking that. And I think that's exemplified with the Nine of Swords. This is the card of all those thoughts, those worries, those cares, concerns, keeping you up at night, like this character is. But what I love about this card is all the worries seem to be in this character's mind. They're literally hanging over your head. But if we pause, if we tune back into that inner magic that we have represented by the wand here, magic wand, if we were able to tune back into that, we would see that on this character's blanket are roses and signs of the zodiac. This character is literally covered with the heavens and the earth. And if we are able to step outside of our minds, step outside of our thinking, then happiness is there. And the ten of cups, there's a joyfulness here that even though it was reversed, the joyfulness cannot be contained. It's almost like a smiley face when it's reversed. There's the smile, and we can see these two heads as the eyes. So we'll just show it right side up. This ties into the idea of the rainbow that came after the flood, or if we want to get less biblical, the rainbow that comes after every storm. But it's only after the storm that the rainbow appears. It's only after we get through, where is it going to go? All this mental anguish that we can see what's beyond all of that, where we can glimpse the world, where we can become the world dancer here. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We got the family, nice family unit, nuclear family here, apropos, maybe for today, if you celebrate with your family. The adults understand that this promise is going to be kept by God, that there will always be happiness, there will always be satisfaction on the other side of those turmoils, whether they be mental and created of our own uh, musings, or if they are something external. They understand that. The children, on the other hand, they don't have that understanding. They have the ignorance of youth, so to speak, and they are just happy because they don't know anything else. And when we come back to the page, it is that youthfulness, it is that noviceness of beginnings that is we are invited to tap into. It is blocked, though. It came up reversed. And my thinking is that's just this is an easy journey from page to the happiness of the cups. It's an easy journey, I say, if there isn't all of this mental anguish in the way. Two of Swords, reversed. But this is a character who has taken it upon themselves to protect themselves, specifically their heart. And we think about the intuition, that inner inner magic. Where is it? The inner magic here as coming from the heart. But we see here that this character has covered her heart. She's blindfolded herself and has raised her hands from a solid place of her solar plexus to above her heart. So she's kind of off centered in the way that she's protecting herself. Now, it was reversed. So, my reading of that is that this is a character who is beginning to learn that they control their mind. They have the ability to either be in their head and overcome with their thinkings, or they have a choice to tune into their body, their heart, that inner wisdom, that inner guidance, that inner guru, so to speak. And that does bring us to the Queen of Cups. This is hands down one of my favorite cards. This rendering by Pamela Coleman Smith. I love it. And we've got a couple different cups here. So there's more to say about that. But what I love about the Queen of Cups is how unique her cup is and how almost lovingly she's looking at it, or at the very least, um, focused on it. Look at the 10 to compare as far as the cup designs go. The queen is her own thing, and it's that idea of tapping into your intuition or understanding your emotions. Sorry, the cups represent the element of water, and with that, the feelings and the emotions associated with them. And in astrology at this time, we've had this grand water trine, and I'm not sure if that's still in effect or how long that will be in effect, but there's been a lot of emotions coming to the surface, and we just got out of Scorpio season. So that's all about going into the depths of those emotions. But the queen here isn't concerned so much because she understands and understands that her emotions are her power, and she's going to be sovereign in that choice to express them however is most correct for her. She's not worried about putting on any kind of facade to make herself palatable for the masses. She knows that if she's in her power, in her creative energy, that she's going to make what she loves, and that the folks who are drawn to that are going to be drawn to her. And again, queen isn't necessarily a woman. You might not be a woman, but you might have those feminine energies, that divine feminine energy of creation coming up, because we also have the King of Wands here. And it's interesting, we started with the Page of Wands and we come to the King of Wands. And that's just this idea of going through this journey of deciding you want to tap into your magic, tap into your intuition, tap into that inner knowing, and getting through all of the stumbling blocks, the doubts, and choosing to tap into that inner knowing, that inner intuition and guidance, and then taking all of that and putting it forward into society, maybe as an offering, or maybe even less than just showing up in that way as the magician, as someone who has control of the eagerness and the impulsiveness of the fire energy. But note that the king here is kind of perched on the edge of the seat here. He's still ready to go. He's still got that impetuousness of the fire energy boiling up inside of him. Which brings us to the Nine of Cups, a person who is very much satisfied with all of their, we can see these as accomplishments, with the fact that they have been able to separate themselves from their emotions and they're no longer being mastered by them, but are the master of their emotions. This is satisfaction. This is a good time just for the sake of having a good time. And when we've been on this journey with as much mental anguish as there often is, sometimes the best time is a good time. And then there comes the warning of the challenge of the wands. that fire energy sometimes wants to fight with itself just for the sake of fighting, not necessarily because there's something to prove, but just because it wants to burn up that fire energy. So we see here a character who has risen above the other fighters, who has the high ground, so to speak, and is able to surmount those. It was reversed, though. So this makes me think, and the fact that it kind of came paired with this is the idea that you don't want to rest on your laurels too much. Where are we? You don't want to rest on your laurels too much. Yes, rest when you need to. You don't have to be always doing, always going, but not to get too complacent with it so that you slip back into the old notion of, oh, I got to fight just to fight. I got to do a thing just to do a thing. Remember your queen, remember your inner queen. And also, for that sense, remember your inner student. Are you doing this because it's actually something that interests you? Is it something that you want to express in a way that only you can? Or is it something that you're doing because you think you're supposed to? We talked yesterday about parents, and if you're a certain kind of person in a certain kind of society at a certain kind of age, you kind of get badgered into those kinds of questions. When you having kids, when you getting married, all of that. So that's that kind of idea of, are you, using this example, are you having kids just because that's what you're supposed to do at a certain age? Or is it because you want to learn from them and you want to teach them and you want to pass on what you've learned into the next generation, as an example? Which brings us to the world. And my reading of this is kind of coming at the end of this, which is apt, is the idea that when you have found that balance between the thinking and the feeling, between the doing and the resting, then the world is your oyster, as they say, and you're able to dance in it instead of rushing from it or around through it. And it's this idea that victory is waiting for you. It's already planned out. It's already there. If you have this thing in your heart, if you know you want to create something that is totally unique for you, just the fact that you've seen that, that you've felt that, that you believe that you're here to do that, means that that thing is already completed at the end, and that the victory wreaths are there for you. There's also this idea of this red ribbon kind of tied in the infinity symbol, the idea that this is going to keep going, and we're never really done expanding. We're never done arriving. We're just moving from one state to an awakened state, or a more awakened state, or in a less awakened state. It's this constant expansion and contraction, expansion and contraction. Hmm. So I like to end with the wisdom of Hafiz. So let's get this summarized. We got 8 cards here. 8 might be significant for some folks. Wait, let me count again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10. 10 like completion. 10 like the 10 of cups here. That might be relevant. So what do we have here? What is the summary, or what is the parting wisdom that we can leave the folks with who have tuned in today? Because it is a day when we're encouraged to give thanks, I just want to thank you all, whether you're watching this live or catching the replay, for tuning in. But more than that, I want to thank you on behalf of creation because you are someone who wants to expand. You are someone who needs to expand, who won't be satisfied with stasis. And that is a powerful, powerful place to be. And I thank you for being there. So, what do we got here? Hafiz, there it is. Hmm. Love unabashedly. And 40. So the number 4 or 40 might be relevant for you. Love unabashedly. Once the moon and I got arrested for such wild love in public, so we now meet secretly, but don't let that hold you back. We often measure love, how much we're getting, how much we're giving, as if love could be put on a scale. But love is a wild thing, born to be free. Let it romp and graze and frolic through the forests of your psyche. Take no stock of who owes you or what is adequate, appropriate, or sane when it comes to loving your life and dreams. Love freely. Give it away. Keep no tally. When you stop keeping score, love wins. So do you. That's kind of confirmation or a reaffirmation of this idea of tuning in to create what you love and letting that be enough. And yeah, loving it unabashedly. And if there was one kind of advice that I could give as far as where to bring that love, bring it to this. Bring it to these mental anguishes. Bring it to these protective situations you've put yourself in. Bring the love to the less than loving thoughts you might have about yourself or about people or about the situation you find yourself in. Once you're able to bring that compassion to those thoughts, to your mind, then your entire mind begins to shift and the way that you see the world begins to shift as well. All right. So that's all I have for you today, my friends. Lots of cards here, lots of things to look at. Take what resonates and share the rest with someone else. Happy Thursday. Happy November. Happy holidays. And may all minds and hearts that find this video be well.